Most people do not fail financially because they earn too little. They fail because they cannot clearly separate what they need from what they want. This small confusion quietly drains income, increases debt, and destroys long-term wealth. Today, we are going to break this down in a simple and practical way. In this video, you will learn what needs and wants truly mean, why the difference matters in real life, how misclassifying them affects your finances, what research and statistics show about spending behavior, and how you can build a system that protects your money starting today. Before we continue, this content is for educational purposes only and does not replace professional financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial advisor before making major financial decisions. Let us begin with a clear definition. A need is something essential for survival and basic functioning. Food, water, shelter, basic clothing, healthcare, transportation required for work. These are needs because without them, your safety, health, or ability to earn income is at risk. A want, on the other hand, is something that improves comfort, pleasure, or status, but is not required for survival. Entertainment subscriptions, luxury brands, upgraded gadgets, dining out frequently, vacations. These things are not wrong, but they are optional. The problem is that in modern society, wants often disguise themselves as needs. Marketing is designed to do exactly that. Global advertising spending exceeded $600 billion in recent years. Companies spend this much money to influence how you perceive value. When you repeatedly see a product associated with success, beauty, or status, your brain begins to treat it as necessary. But emotional importance does not equal financial necessity. Now let us look at the numbers. Research in consumer finance shows that many households spend a significant portion of income on discretionary expenses. In the United States, data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that housing, transportation, food, and healthcare take the largest share of average household spending. However, categories such as entertainment, apparel upgrades, and dining out still represent thousands of dollars annually for the average household. In some income groups, discretionary spending can reach 20 to 30% of total expenses. That is not small, that is powerful. If you earn $1,000 and spend $300 on wants, that is 30% of your income. Over 1 year, that is $3,600. Over 10 years, that is $36,000. If invested with modest returns, that number grows even further. Small wants repeated consistently become large financial consequences. Now understand something important. The line between a need and a want is not always fixed. It depends on context. You need transportation to work. That is a need. But you do not necessarily need the most expensive version of that transportation. You need food. But you do not need premium imported versions of everything. You need a phone in modern society for communication and work access. But you may not need the newest flagship model every year. This is where financial discipline begins. Discipline is not about deprivation, it is about classification. You must train your mind to ask one simple question before spending. Is this necessary for survival, safety, or income generation? If the answer is no, it is a want, and wants must fit within limits. Now let us examine psychology. Studies in behavioral economics show that humans are heavily influenced by impulse and social comparison. When people see peers displaying certain lifestyles online, spending increases. Social media exposure has been linked to higher material desire and reduced savings rates in younger populations. This is not because people are irresponsible. It is because the brain is wired for comparison, and comparison fuels wants. Another important statistic comes from global savings behavior. In several developed economies, household savings rates fluctuate widely, often falling below 10% of disposable income during high consumption periods. At the same time, consumer debt continues to grow. Credit card debt in the United States has surpassed $1 trillion in recent years. Debt often rises when wants are financed as if they were needs. When you borrow money for survival, that is one situation. When you borrow money for lifestyle upgrades, that is another. Interest turns temporary wants into long-term burdens. So how do we practically apply this knowledge? Start with clarity. List all your monthly expenses. Divide them into 2 columns. Column 1 is non-negotiable survival and income expenses. Column 2 is lifestyle and comfort expenses. Be honest. This exercise alone can change your financial awareness. Next, apply structure. A common budgeting framework suggests allocating about 50% of income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. This is not a rigid law, it is a guideline. The key lesson is that wants should never dominate your financial plan. Savings and investment must have priority after needs are secured. Now let us go deeper. Sometimes what we call a need is actually fear. Fear of missing out, fear of looking unsuccessful, fear of discomfort. Financial growth often requires temporary discomfort. Cooking at home instead of dining out, keeping a functional phone instead of upgrading, living below your income level. These decisions are not signs of weakness, they are signs of long-term thinking. Wealth is usually built by people who master delayed gratification. Research from behavioral psychology consistently shows that individuals who can delay short-term pleasure for long-term gain achieve better financial outcomes. This principle is simple but powerful. Every time you correctly classify a want and postpone it, you strengthen financial discipline. Let us simplify everything into 3 filters. Filter 1, survival. If removed, would your health or safety be threatened? Filter 2, stability. If removed, would your ability to earn income be threatened? Filter 3, strategy. Does this expense move you closer to financial independence? If an expense fails all 3 filters, it is most likely a want. This does not mean you eliminate all wants. A life without enjoyment is not balanced. But enjoyment must be intentional, not automatic. You choose your wants after your future is protected, not before. Now pause and reflect. How many expenses in your current life are truly needs? How many are habits you never questioned? How many are emotional decisions disguised as necessities? Here is your practical task for today. Write down your last 30 days of spending. Categorize each expense honestly. Calculate the total spent on wants, then calculate what that amount would become if invested for 5 years at a modest annual return. See the number clearly. This exercise will change how you think about small daily spending. Here is your future task. For the next 90 days before every non-essential purchase, apply the 3 filters. Wait 24 hours before buying any item that is not a clear need. Track how many times you decide not to spend. Track how much you save. After 90 days, review the total difference. You will not just see financial improvement, you will see psychological growth. Understanding needs versus wants is not about restriction, it is about power. When you control classification, you control cash flow. When you control cash flow, you control investment. When you control investment, you control your future. Ask yourself this: are you building a life based on clarity or impulse? Are you funding your future or financing your distractions? The answer is visible in your bank statement. If this lesson helped you see money differently, then it has done its job. Financial growth is not complicated. It is consistent awareness applied daily. If you found value in this video, subscribe to Finance in Practice and share this with someone who needs financial clarity. Your future improves when your decisions improve. And every decision begins with one question: is it a need or is it a want?